Hello YouTube. So usually when your CV axle starts to go, it doesn't actually fail itself. It's like the boot that like gets cracked. It's almost always on the outer like perimeter here. And basically once you start seeing like grease leak out, you can't be sure that contaminants haven't gotten back in, and they'll get inside this mechanism and cause like increasingly more friction, which will lead to the failure of the boot. So it's generally um, suggested, or not suggested, it's required that you replace the entire half shaft or CV axle assembly. Um, and it's also a lot of work to like try to rebuild the boot. But on my Chevy Volt, I noticed that there was like a very slight axle grease leak on one of my tires. And when I looked, at first I thought that the boot had slipped under this clip here, and I thought, oh cool, I could just like re-clip it, and then um, you know, if a minimal quantity of grease had leaked out, then it'd be all good. And as long as nothing had gotten back in, like if I caught it early enough. Usually you don't catch these early enough. You catch them once they start causing symptoms, and then by then it's, the whole thing has to be replaced. But in this case, I think I was somewhat lucky. So I recorded a video, and my idea was I was going to try to repack some grease that came out. So I bought this like $9 grease thing on Amazon, and I had a lot of difficulty getting in there, and the final solution I came up with was to basically put it in this syringe and make like a improvised grease gun. Um, Found out you want like the largest syringe possible so you can exert the most amount of force. I tried this, what was it, like a 30 mil syringe. I just could not, no matter how hard I tried, could not get any of the grease to move out just because it's so viscous. And I basically cut up this, used to be like an IV line from a hospital, and basically use that as like the syringe. And then you want lots of gloves if you're gonna do this, because that stuff's messy. I also have this like silicone self-adhering tape. It doesn't really use an adhesive, it just kind of like bonds to itself. It comes with this like plastic liner. And then I got lots of stuff like towels and alcohol pads to basically clean the area. You'll probably want to use like a jack to jack the car up, just so you can like get enough room. And then the other idea I had was to use these stainless steel cable ties, which not really many people know about. I guess they're like common in the marine industry. But I'll kind of show you how I was able to use those. It comes with a special tool. You're supposed to buy this special tool, which both like tensions it and lets you cut the steel cable tie. I guess it's more than just suggested. And then this is like some tools and a suture kit like a practice suture kit I had, which I also used. So underneath the car, right, this is the passenger side CV axle. Lots of light. Sorry, it's kind of hard to manipulate, but I tried the day before to like pack it and everything, and I put this. I put one of the cable ties on there, but it wasn't really satisfied with the repair. I did get the majority of the grease in there eventually. This is before I used the caulking gun to like as a improvised grease gun, but I think I added maybe 100 milliliters, maybe 50 milliliters of grease, maybe like, I don't know, 60% of the packet. But I didn't realize at the time that the boot had completely sheared off, so there wasn't anything, like there wasn't any meat out here to clamp down on to get it to be tight again. So next what I did, so I pre-arranged you want to pre-bend the stainless steel cable ties, because basically I'm working with like one hand in there. And then I have the whole improvised grease gun set up, right, with a IV tubing line on the end as kind of like the syringe. And then I used the forceps from the suture kit to basically like jam into the boot to get enough clearance in order to stick the basically like the syringe head in there to like inject the grease. I tried to get it down as far as I could, but obviously this is all improvised, but it did end up working, I think. So And then also, once you do that, you want to like clean everything as good as possible, because actually before this, you don't want to introduce any contaminants, or at least as minimal as possible when you're sticking stuff in there, right? Otherwise, it's just gonna fail anyways. So I like squeezed the grease gun, and basically there's like 5 mils left that I couldn't get, but I got a lot more in there than I thought I could, and I just figure I should at least replace some since some came out, right? So, and then I use that silicone tape to basically like seal around the CV boot end, right? But the problem with that tape is like it adheres okay, but I mean the shaft has to spin, and there's going to be centrifugal force, so like the tape's going to try to like work itself loose. So I used 4 stainless steel cable ties to basically clamp down and get the silicone tape, you know, which like goes over the end of the boot and then the end of the shaft and everything to try to hopefully stay on there at least until some of the other parts of the suspension start going, and then I can replace everything at once, right? Like the wheel bearings and the shocks and stuff. Hopefully I can make like one big job out of all of it. Just like if you want to do this job correctly, so there's like a lot of aftermarket parts and stuff for like the Chevy Cruze. I think they'll work on this car, but everyone's had pretty bad experiences with the aftermarket ones. They either seem to make noise or seem to fail like pretty quickly after you fix them. I don't know if it's the weight of the Chevy Volt, but if you go on GM Parts Direct, and it's like an online portal through GM that you can order stuff through the dealerships. I mean, these used to be like, you can only buy the full like half shaft assembly. It used to be like 250, 260 bucks, but I guess now they're over 300. So that sucks. They do make a what's it called? Like a boot kit. So like if you actually did take the whole half shaft out because you caught it tearing soon enough, this would be the right way to do the job. Is you buy this kit, which was apparently $72 for a rubber funnel and some grease and some clips, but you're supposed to like disassemble the whole thing. It's a really messy job, and you need some other like specialist tools to like get these clamps both off and then back on correctly. And then you also have to like you can look up other videos if you want to do this job correctly, but hopefully my repair holds until like the other parts of the suspension start failing. But I mean, these are basically the only ones I would trust, but they're pretty expensive. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Anyways, hadn't seen this on YouTube, so I thought I'd make a video. Thanks for watching.